Welcome to the Senior Basketball Analyst NBA Finals Game 5 recap. Tonight's just a four-stringer solo, and I'm gonna, recap this game for you. I just, I don't like it. It doesn't. I would have never predicted it before the series began, but the story of the night is Timofey Mozgov. That's the story. The story is Timofey Mozgov and the fact that he's on a milk carton. Inexplicably, after a 28-point explosion, his career high, setting yet another career high for himself in this series, he was basically removed from the lineup. He was benched. Um, he was benched the way Bogut was benched. Basically, he only played 9 minutes. I, for the life of me, do not understand why. I can't explain it. And when they put up a graphic during the game, Mike Breen, they had one of those graphics where they show the players' performance in the game prior to today, and Mozgov had the 28 points and everything, and then it was 9 minutes and no points at the time for Mozgov. Yeah, I believe it was no points. It doesn't matter. He was completely non-existent. And Van Gundy and Mark Jackson said nothing. It was dead air for a few seconds, and then they start talking about something else. I don't understand why they would do that. I don't understand why they would act like it's a non-story, or whatever they were acting like. They didn't say anything. So the silence, in this case, silence isn't golden. Silence is not speaking about something that to me is obvious, and I can't for the life of me understand why. Um, it's one thing to celebrate the small ball and say it's effective for whatever reason. In this case, the obvious so effective is that Cleveland is inexplicably going small when they don't have a small ball lineup. And so when they go small, they really ended up not really doing anything different but playing Mike Miller more, who has he's not really a player anymore. So in when not playing Mozgov, they didn't even lengthen the rotation. The rotation actually shortens because they didn't play him, and they just played Mike Miller more basically, and threw a couple more minutes to James Jones. It's very, 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 very weird, very weird, and that's one of those things that somebody should go and do some research and figure that out. When was the last time somebody played 28 minutes and then played 9 in the next game, or scored 28 points and then played 9 minutes in the next finals game without there being an injury involved or something? That was peculiar. And 9 minutes isn't even enough time to see if a guy can get going. So there was clearly a decision made to just not play him. I don't know why you don't play a guy that the other team clearly can't guard. And it caused them all kinds of problems. In addition to increasing the fatigue issue, as I said, this shortens your rotation. In addition to that, it makes one of the key weapons of the series for the Cleveland Cavaliers has been pick and roll with Mozgov. He's been such a good pick and roll player in terms of his hands and catching the ball and then being able to finish. He's been very, very effective that way. He's been he's been a key weapon in terms of what Dellavedova does offensively for them. Without Mozgov in the game, Dellavedova is very limited. It like half of his shots look like a high schooler. He's very limited. One of the key weapons for him has been being able to lob the ball on Mozgov. I don't understand that. I just don't understand it. And early on in the game, um, just the Cleveland Cavaliers just started the game off horribly. They started off bad because they were making these terrible turnovers, and then that's been one of the things that has kept Golden State playing slow, is that Cleveland isn't turning the ball over. They're taking shots in the paint that are contested rebounds, and it's keeping them from being able to run. They threw the ball away 2 or 3 times, just threw it away. And I made a note of it at the beginning of the game. I said, look, they got to get back to the LeBron James all the time plan. Whatever we do, we let LeBron James just shoot it or find an open shooter, and then we crash the boards. That's been winning for you. They totally went away with it, and Golden State didn't force them to go away from it. They just went away from it. And I don't blame David Blatt, because I wasn't giving David Blatt any of the credit because he's not coaching the team. I blame Tyronn Lue. I blame LeBron James. These are the guys that I've been giving the credit to. These are the guys that have been running everything. Then this is who you blame. And I don't understand it. They actually made what Golden State is doing. They made it work by not playing their center. They made it work. And look, Klay Thompson had another game where he shot like 34%. Klay Thompson, and it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter. They win the game anyway. They win it pretty easily. The best player for the Golden State Warriors has been Andre Iguodala. You got to give him credit, man. You got to give him credit. And this is a guy that was benched unfairly throughout the season. He played a very limited role. Now you're forced into it because you got the Hall of Fame first ballot best player in the league, LeBron James, across from him, an all-time great. Got to play your defensive stopper. Andre Iguodala showing improvement, man. He's showing improvement night after night after night, even though he missed 9 free throws, which his free throw shooting is inexplicable, man. This dude, I know for a fact he shot 80% from the free throw line once in his career. I know he did. I have no idea why he can't shoot free throws now. It's really peculiar. But the boy is doing everything else right, man. You gotta love it, man. 14 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists, 3 steals. The dude is incredible, man. He's incredible. Doing this against LeBron James, going out there, and putting that kind of effort together. He's their best player. He's their best player right now. If Golden State was going to have the Finals MVP, which I don't think they will, the buzz is going around. It's very loud right now. It's very loud right now. So, I think we all know what's going to happen with the Finals MVP. But right now, the best player on the Golden State Warriors is Andre Iguodala. You got to give him a lot of credit. Got to give him credit. This was a game that it was, in a lot of ways, it was infuriating because I kept waiting for Mozgov to make an appearance and it wasn't happening. And I kept waiting for J.R. Smith to actually take a decent shot. I don't think J.R. Smith took anything but threes in this game. His play is just horrible. It's just horrible basketball. And this is a guy that has skills. He has some basketball-like skills, but in terms of actually playing within a team concept and helping you win a game, he's hopeless. He's hopeless. Dumb foul after dumb foul. Anytime he tries to pass, he usually messes it up. And then when he catches, he either fires it right where he is, or he faces up, takes 2 dribbles one way, and then shoots a step back. What is wrong with this dude, man? What is going on with him? He's just horrible. I wouldn't want him on my roster, man. He's one of them dudes that's like, he's borderline a cuttable dude, a dude you just want to wave. The way I've been talking about Bogut all series long. J.R. Smith's not much better. He's not much better. He may be worse because he hurts you so much with all the empty possessions he produces. He just throws up dumb shot after dumb shot. And it's like, to me, it's one of those things. It's like, he's a tough shot maker. There's a lot of guys that would make shots like that if they took 15 of them would hit 5. There's a lot of people like that. That's not really. He's not. You know what? What he's trying to be is Jamal Crawford. Clearly, he's not. Clearly, he's not. And I'll tell you like this. The way J.R. Smith plays and his low basketball IQ, there's no way at the age of 35 he'll still be playing. No way. Because once he loses some of that explosive athletic ability, he's finished. His career will be over. He's awful. He's just awful. And it's really, really frustrating to watch him. But really, there's not a whole lot of basketball analysis I can really do on this game because it made no sense. It just made no sense. Um, Cleveland went away from everything that was working for them, and they went and just went. They fell into a Golden State trap that I don't even feel like Golden State set. I feel like they set their own trap and then stepped in it. Um, this is some Elmer Fudd, Wile E. Coyote type nonsense. Um, so I'm really, very, very disappointed in the Cleveland Cavaliers. I'm extremely disappointed. Um, I thought Draymond Green at least um, looked better, um, which was good. That's encouraging because that means his back's loosening up, so it means he feels better. I thought he looked better as far as his mobility was concerned, so that's good. Um, Steph Curry, you know, woke up or whatever you want to call it, finally, had kind of some of those signature plays that he's had all season where, you know, he's doing multiple crossovers in a row, a crossover between legs behind and back or something like that, then step back three, you know, right in your face, nothing you can do about it. So that was fine for entertainment value, but in terms of it being a well played game, Cleveland was just so dumb that it you know I guess I'm glossing over the fact that LeBron James once again 40 points with the triple double. I could do a whole show on the greatness of LeBron James. At this point, LeBron James is playing for you know it's like I said, it's like he's playing a video game and he's trying to reach certain milestones, and right now it's the come back home and win a title milestone, and the Wilt Chamberlain plan milestone, where you try to score and assist on every basket your team hits and see if you can do it. Um, it's one of those things he's never gonna hit it, but you try to. It's like one time as a kid, I beat Contra. Contra's in the kind of I'm sure you guys seen the internet videos of young kids playing Contra, and like one time I beat Contra on one credit, and it'd be like if I tried to beat it on one life. It's like you probably aren't ever going to do it, but since he has the opportunity, LeBron's going to he's trying to do things that no one's ever done before and trying to win in ways that no one's ever won before. So LeBron, you can't give him enough credit for what he's doing out there with subpar talent, short. Not only is it subpar talent, it's a short bench, no depth, no coach. He's going out there trying to beat, a very good team, win a championship. Got to give him credit. You got to give him a lot of credit. And you know what? It is fun to watch from a basketball perspective because it's so unique. It's very unique to see a guy playing at this level because other greats that maybe could have done these things didn't have to. They weren't surrounded by, subpar players with subpar coaching and subpar organization. Because let's not forget what Cleveland is. Go back and read the things that Dan Gilbert has said over the years. Dan Gilbert is a nasty human being, and he's certainly a poor owner. How many number one picks does Cleveland have to have? Cleveland's had just so many number one picks. They're in the lottery every year, and they somehow are always bad unless LeBron James is on the team. So make no mistake about it. This is a foolish, clownish organization run by a fool, point blank. And LeBron and Golden State. I haven't forgot about you guys either. Golden State's the team where one of the owners sends out this racist email and then claimed that his autocorrect corrected Yiddish to Hoodish. Because we don't have an adversarial press, nobody questioned any of this nonsense. But come on. How would, first of all, autocorrect doesn't correct from real words to fake words, corrects from fake words to real words. So that doesn't make any sense or at face value. I would also add, which one of these really well-spoken players speaks Hoodish? Who? Is it Goon Green? Is it Andre Iguodala? Who is it? I'm not going to name people that weren't on the team last year, but who is it? Is it Harrison Barnes, another real really well-spoken guy. Now, you're not talking about one of the Splash Brothers, are you? So who are you referring to? It's one of those things where, it's just somebody who's obviously a racist saying something racist for no reason, and then when they get caught, instead of owning up to what they're saying, you want to do a Danny Ferry style clownish non-apology and make this goofy explanation that nobody with a brain would believe. It doesn't make any sense. So, I haven't forgotten about who these owners are and the way they conduct themselves in public. I haven't forgotten about them. The Golden State Warriors organization overall has done a good job. The firing of Mark Jackson was obviously ridiculous on its face. To hire a guy that has no experience of any kind coaching made no sense. It was just one of the owners hiring a buddy of his. He was like, hey, I got this cake job. You want it? Mark Jackson, I don't even like him. I'll fire him. And then I'll tell everybody that everybody in the organization hated him, even though we can't find any of these people. The only person on his team that didn't like him was Bogut. We see how much value that opinion it has. 0. So yeah, we know what kind of organizations these are. And I guess, I just wanted to use that moment just to talk about these organizations for a moment. The refereeing, I can get to the refereeing, with these this is the kind of nonsense that makes people say the games are fixed. This is why people do that. This is why when the ref is standing right in front of a play, watches a guy swipe the ball out of bounds, and then calls it out on the other guy, when that dude's arm wasn't anywhere near the play. Watch the ref looks and watches Dellavedova kick the ball away from Steph Curry and just doesn't say anything. It was obvious he kicked it. It was so obvious. And then Jeff Van Gundy making a clown of himself. Oh, I don't think he kicked it on purpose. And Mark Jackson almost lost it. It was real. You see his foot, like his ankle turned because he almost missed it. So he turned his ankle so he would make sure he kicked it. It's one of those things. Like you can't even really give Dellavedova credit on that play because it's not like we didn't all see it. Like we all saw what you did. The refs just chose to let you have it. I don't know why. I don't know why, but I don't want to really it gets very when you're watching a game with people, other people are getting frustrated too. You're getting frustrated and you're like, that's not what I want to watch. That's not why we watch sports. We don't watch sports to watch the rules be flouted by the officials. It's a serious problem. And this is how you become boxing. People always need to remember, young cats that are watching this, you're not going to remember and you're not going to think about it. But there was a time when boxing was the biggest sport in the country. Boxing was the thing. When you were heavyweight champion of the world, you were the most famous athlete in the country. Easily. Maybe even in the world, but you were definitely the most famous athlete here. This is how Muhammad Ali got so big, because he was heavyweight champ, man. When you were the champ, right? Skip is just some guy won the Super Bowl. Who cares? But what happened to boxing? Corruption. That's what killed it. That's what ultimately made it something. Like slowly other things, the fact that the better athletes aren't playing it anymore, aren't boxing anymore, and are playing other sports. If you're a big guy, if you're a guy like Muhammad Ali, you're playing basketball in the NFL. You're not in a boxing ring, getting hit in the head and having your brain damaged. You're not doing that. The money's not big enough. The opportunities aren't big enough. So but boxing, people never, they didn't think that was going to happen, and then eventually it did. The NBA is taking a terrible risk with having these games. These guys are going to the replay center time and time again over obvious calls, dumb stuff where it's just all dumb stuff. It's all dumb stuff, and Dellavedova, he's always involved in some nonsense. He drags Goon Green down on top of him. and then like an idiot, and then Green falls on him and he hits his head on the ground. And then they double foul him, which didn't make any sense. Then they go to the replay and they sit there, wasted another, 5 minutes of everybody's time going to the replay, to go into the monitors on the sideline. And then they come back from that and say double technical. You guys watch the replay and then you're going to go and say that. What is the point then of watching a replay if you're going to come back from the replay and get it wrong? What's the point? That's what I say, man. It's really, really, it's really, really unfortunate that the NBA is doing this to itself, and it's going to hurt it long term. This is not a strategy for success. It's not. You always want people to have confidence in the process, and people go to sports for an escape. And one of the things they're escaping from is the normal everyday BS that is inequitable and unfair. That's one of the things they're escaping. One of the things we say in the United States all the time, and it's like it's some kind of, and people say it with a straight face like it's okay, and it's not okay. It's ridiculous. Well, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And people say that like it's not unconscionable. That's ridiculous that that's the way things are. That's part of why things are messed up all the time, because the people that are put in positions of influence and power 9 times out of 10 aren't there because of merit. Whether they have merit or not is another issue. They might, but that's incidental. That doesn't have anything to do with why they're there. They're there because somebody likes them. And we talk about that like it's great. It's not great. It's really stupid, and it should be different. And it's hurting us as a society badly. All you have to do is look at the current presidential frontrunners. It's all dynasty BS. So, when people go to watch a sporting event, they want to see people competing on a level playing field. They want to see the rules, and the rules enforced equitably, so we can have a contest that people feel like the better player or better man or better team or better woman won. We don't watch this stuff so we can see a bunch of rigged nonsense and people deflating the football and then saying that it was some other guy that did it, and no, I didn't, and I didn't make those phone calls. And that's not why people watch sports. They want something to be equitable. And by the way, they certainly don't want this kind of foolishness happening when they're gambling on it. Me personally, I'm not gambling on a sporting event, but we all know that the gambling is a big business, especially in the NFL. It's huge, but we know it's big in the NBA too. People gamble on everything. People don't want to be gambling on something that's WWE style, rigged, fixed, predetermined outcomes. So I don't see why anybody would be in favor of this. I don't see why anybody would be, and I don't see why the NBA, it's one of those inexplicable NBA decisions. So that's pretty much all I would say about what's going on right now in the NBA. Game 5. Cleveland may have lost the series because they went away from what was working for them. Timofey Mozgov, man, he got the Hassan Whiteside treatment. I may just start calling it White-sided. He's a dude that's an effective center that just inexplicably just lost his playing time. And I'm going to tell you like this. You can stop anybody. Anybody can be stopped when there's no opportunity. And Game 5, Timofey Mozgov was robbed of an opportunity to help his team. He got no opportunity. Sean Marion right now, he's not getting an opportunity to help. And Cleveland needs it. They need bodies that can play. They need anybody can get out there and eat up some minutes. And yeah, I may just start calling that white-sided. Timofey Mozgov, he didn't get an opportunity, and it doesn't matter who you are. If you're not on the court, you can't produce. If Shaquille O'Neal had been treated like this, he would not be Shaq Diesel or whatever he's calling himself this week. He'd be just a big dude that was in the NBA. He'd be like Stanley Roberts or Benoit Benjamin or any other big 300-pound dude that you forgot about. That's all he'd be. And you could think otherwise all you want, but they could have done that to him. They could do that to anybody. They decide who's on the court, not you. So, um, so yeah, I will leave it there. I will leave it there. Game 6. I'm really hoping that Cleveland goes back to doing what they do best. It's a bruising smash mouth style. Get the ball inside. They're doing it the traditional way, the way it's always been done in the NBA. And Golden State does it the way it's a new wave type of game where you take a lot of threes. It creates a lot of long rebounds. It's a lot of running up and down, and you're not really getting the ball inside and getting high percentage shots. Neither with a post up or with a drive. If you notice one of the key ways they drive and finish is Curry throwing the ball off the corner of the backboard somewhere. That's how they get interior points. They certainly don't have a back to the basket big man in the starting lineup that gets buckets in the paint. So yeah, we'll see what happens in game 6. I'm actually thinking that Timofey Mozgov is going to go back into the starting lineup and actually be a featured player. Or maybe that's just wishful thinking. Maybe I'm being an idiot. But regardless, LeBron James is going to be LeBron James. He's going to be dialed in. He's going to be ready to go. Look for that matchup, and that's a fun matchup. So just watch that all night. Watch LeBron James and Andre Iguodala dueling, going at it. By the way, I liked Iguodala's answer too. They asked him in the post game. He said, "Hey, I've been doing this for 10 years with this guy." I like this answer, man. Look, LeBron James is the best in the world. He's one of the best of all time. But that doesn't mean he can't be stopped, man. That doesn't mean you can't match up with him and you can't make it difficult. It doesn't mean you can't on a given game outplay him. That's why you show up and play the games. You don't show up to just go and just say, well, let me go out here and get stomped on by LeBron. We know LeBron's the best in the world, but doesn't mean Andre Iguodala can't get out there and compete. And I like that he's doing that. This is the last thing I'll wrap up with. I forgot about this. I just thought of it just now. This thing Jeff Van Gundy and Mark Jackson are doing, which, by the way, they're both very good broadcasters, but Mark Jackson really has a gift for this. And this was the upside to him getting fired for no reason by GSW. Mark Jackson, Jeff Van Gundy's a good broadcaster and does a good job on color, but Mark Jackson is one of the best. He's one of my favorite commentators I've ever heard. You can go into a gym and you hear people saying hand down, man down. Like, he has quotables, man, that people say him. Like, the dude's very entertaining to listen to. He obviously knows the game backwards and forwards. And if you ever saw him play, one of the most intelligent players I ever saw. But yeah, he's very, very fun to listen to. So they got this thing going back and forth where they go, don't do that. And in game 5, the one they were doing was Mark Jackson said that what LeBron James is doing is similar to Magic Johnson. And Jeff Van Gundy said, don't do that. And I do agree with him. I think that this is very Magic-esque, what LeBron is doing. But I would also add, Magic Johnson's a better player, or LeBron's better than Magic Johnson was. He is. He's better. And we'll down the line, at Senior Basketball Analyst, we're going to get into some of these all-time discussions in the off season when there aren't games being played. We're going to get into some of that. But LeBron James, it's pretty obvious to me that he's a better player than Magic Johnson was. And that's not because Magic Johnson isn't an all-time great. It's because LeBron's that great. He's that awesome in terms of his ability to rebound, shoot the ball from the outside, score in the paint, post up, and defend at an elite level. He basically gives you as complete a skill set as you probably can have in one player. Magic Johnson, as complete a player as he was, he didn't have that elite defense at all, not even close. And LeBron is an elite defender. So he's giving you so much that it's very difficult for almost any player to compare to what he's doing. He's, like I said, man, he's on that Wilt Chamberlain plan, man. He's Wilt Chamberlain-esque in terms of his complete game and ability to affect the game in all facets, in all ways. At some point, we're going to do a LeBron James and Michael Jordan debate, but I can tease it this way, though, or I should say not tease it. They're not similar players. They don't play the same position. They don't do the same stuff. Like, you know, Magic and LeBron play in a similar way in terms of them being very, very big point guard, you know, initiators of the offense. Jordan is a shooting guard. They don't do the same stuff. But the other don't do that between Jeff Van Gundy and Mark Jackson. Game 4, Dellavedova had this sloppy post up against Stephen Curry, but he scored. Partially because it was a good shot, and partially because Steph Curry's a lousy defender. And Jeff Van Gundy says, "That's it, I'm going home." And then there's a few seconds of silence, and then he says, "That was Mark Jackson-esque." For those of you that didn't see Mark Jackson play, Mark Jackson is one of the players. It was really Barkley and Jackson. Mark Jackson was the guy, one of the guys that caused the NBA to start the back down rule in terms of there being a time limit on how long you could have your back to a defender and back him down, because Mark Jackson would back you down the whole clock, and it was boring. So Mark Jackson was a outstanding post-up point guard. You know, like you will see Andre Miller do. That's how Mark Jackson played. And so Jim Van Gundy says it's Mark Jackson-esque, and Mark Jackson said, "Don't do that." And I just thought it was amusing because, wait a minute, you guys have been talking about this guy. I see on NBA.com, they got the article say the legend continues. But then when they compare you, and all the foolishness has to stop, and now we have to stop talking about this guy like he's good at basketball. Come on, man. Come on, Mark. But anyway, so I'll wrap it up there. I'll leave it there. You know, game 5 or game 6, I should say. Game 5 is finally behind us. Game 6, I'm hoping to see more Timofey Mozgov. Never thought I would say that. Never thought I would say that. But that's what we're looking for, and that's frankly what it's going to take for Cleveland to win. I don't think Cleveland can win a game if they're not hitting Golden State Warriors with a steady diet of Tristan Thompson and Timofey Mozgov. Whether they're in, and I mean they both have to give me, I need 40 Tristan Thompson minutes and 30 Mozgov minutes. I need both. Heavy doses. Senior Basketball Analyst, and you know that.